What's up guys, Alden Harris here with Team Prodigy. I'm here to do an in the bag. I've never done one, so I've been asked a lot over the years of what's in my bag, so I'm excited to finally show you guys. Here at these Pro Tour courses, they really challenge your shot shaping ability. Us pros, we have to have a lot of discs. We have to have a disc for every single shot. So I'm gonna start with the putter pouch first. My putters are 300 PA3s. I love the 300 plastic. It's not too firm, but not too soft, and it has a really great grip. Also my putter pouch, I have my chalk bag. Whichever knows I love chalk. I have my towel, and I have my my Tostitos lid. I've been using these for like 3 years. Love them to death. Other putters here in the side, we have the 750 PA4. This is one of my favorite discs Prodigy has. It's just so versatile. You can shape it pretty much any shot shape you want. It can go release it on hyzer, it stays on hyzer. You can do dead straight, or you can do a little ante. This is a really, really great beginner disc because how straight to understable it is. It's pretty touchy, so for a beginner, it'll fly really straight, but it'll also teach you the proper mechanics of a throw, because if you don't throw it right, it's not gonna go anywhere. It's also a really great disc for pros like me. Because of its understability, it allows pros like me to be really creative with it. Because of its versatility, I can manipulate the lines and do pretty much whatever I want with it. I have two PA1s in the bag. This one is a 400G PA1. It's straight to overstable. It's really great for any wind conditions in the woods, shot shaping. Then I have a 400 Glow PA1. This thing is so overstable. This run of PA1s is just crazy overstable. I basically throw this everywhere. It's so good in the wind. It doesn't get affected at all in the wind. So extremely, extremely good approach disc. I have one more putter. It's actually another PA4. It's from the Japan Open. There's a stamp on here. You can't really see it. It's kind of faded, but it's 150 grams. It's mainly used for the woods. Out here in the wind, it's not great just because it's so light, but in the woods, you can do so many fun things with it. Just a really fun disc to have. Onto the approach discs. I bag two of them. First an A3. I use them both only for forehands really. I don't really backhand them. They feel really great for a forehand grip. There's an A3. It's very straight to overstable. If you throw it on anhyzer, it comes out. Then I have an A2. It's very similar to my A3, but it's a lot more overstable, and I can throw a lot more flex shots with it, and it's in 300 Glow plastic, so it sits really well when you throw it. Onto my mid-ranges. I bag three of them. This first one is a 750 M1. This is the same run that Isaac throws. These things are just so good. They're so versatile. You can shape so many different shots with it. It holds any line you put on it. It's probably my favorite mid-range ever made. Couldn't do without this thing. I have another M1. It's a Proto M1. This thing's a lot like this one, but it has some stability at the end. Where that one holds really straight, this one fades. I can throw this on flex lines and it will always come out. Just a great overstable mid-range. Then I have an M4. It's 750 plastic. I've had this thing for a long time. It's really beat in. It's very understable. I can throw it on hyzer flips, throw it at that angle, it'll turn and just hold forever. This is like my favorite disc to throw in the woods. Onto the fairway drivers. I used to not bag a lot of fairway drivers, but recently, I think this year, I started bagging a lot of them. Start with a weird one. This one's kind of famous. It's a 120 gram F7. This one specifically, Gannon drew a memorial on it because he may have killed a bird with it. So he drew a memorial. It's kind of sad. But yes, it's a trick shot disc. It's a get out of jail free card disc. One of my favorite shots I've ever thrown with it is can't remember what hole, but at Mid-America, the year I won, I threw it so hard, it flipped all the way and did like a barrel roll. So really fun disc. Let's see, I have an FX4. I drew a cool little Mockingjay symbol on it. This thing, I just recently started bagging, but I don't know how I lived without it. Gannon and Isaac have been throwing this for since it came out, and for some reason I never really gave it a try, but then recently I did, and it is one of my favorite discs of all time. I can throw it on a little bit of anhyzer, and it just holds forever, and then has some stability at the end. I have an F3, a 400G F3. This is mainly a woods disc. I can really shape shots with it. It's pretty flippy because I've had it for so long. My main shot that I throw with it is I release it on hyzer, it holds over, and just never comes back. It's so good. I have two FX2s in the bag. This one is a 750 FX2. I had one at the beginning of the year that had a really cool die in it, and then I lost it immediately in the first tournament, so Gannon gave me this one, and I'm kind of glad I lost my other one because this one is very overstable. I can throw it on a lot of anhyzer, it'll always fight out, and it's really great for just spike hyzers. And it looks cool too. Then I have another 750 FX2, has a Panda Express die on it. I love Panda. Every time I throw it, I just think of orange chicken, so I usually throw it good. This thing's similar to this one, just a tiny bit straighter. It still has a lot of stability. I can throw it on anhyzer, it'll come out. I can throw it flat and it'll go straight and then hyzer out. This is one of my favorite fairways ever made. On to my distance drivers. Start with this one. This is my go-to distance driver. I've had this one for a while. It's a 400 SD1. It's one of my first ever Prodigy discs, and surprisingly, it's still very overstable. Out here in the wind, it's so reliable. I can throw it and it'll hardly be affected by the wind. This is probably my go-to distance driver. I have a Falcor. This thing is amazing. It goes so far, it has so much glide, it has so much speed, and it's so overstable too. It's very rare you find a disc like this, a distance driver like this. I'm throwing the Falcor on similar shots for this D1 that I just showed you, but when I want it to go a little further. Next I have this 400 D2. I got it when I was on the street team, funny enough. But this disc I pull out when I want to just get max distance. It has so much glide and so much speed. When I have any shot over 500 feet, I usually pull this disc out because it goes further than any other disc I have. I have this X1. Most of you know X1s are extremely overstable, and this is just that, extremely overstable. I use it a lot in windy conditions when we're on an open course, even in the woods. If it's really windy, I'm pulling out this X1. A lot of you may have saw my ace at Austin this year. It was this disc, ripping like 30-mile-per-hour headwind. Ripped this disc on Annie, didn't even think about flipping. Stabled out, skipped and went in, so love this thing. Next I have this extremely beat-in D1. This is my roller disc. Gannon drew all over it, but it's kind of faded. I have a lot of writing on all my discs, but they're all kind of faded. I need to redo them, including this one. I rip it on hyzer, it flips over and holds that roller line for a long time and then fades out at the end. Really great roller disc. Most D1s obviously aren't rollers, they're very overstable, so this is kind of one in a million because I've had it for so long, but favorite roller disc I've ever had. Now I have a 500 D2 Pro. This thing is an absolute meat hook. If you thought the X1 was overstable, this is 10 times more overstable. It's mainly kind of a trick shot disc. I don't use it a ton. It doesn't go very far because it just wants to get to the ground immediately. But if I have any type of wind or headwind on a relatively short shot, there's a good chance I'll be throwing this one. Next, I have this old 400G D1. I don't throw this a ton in the open. I mainly put this in the bag in the woods because it's very controllable. It holds any line I really put it on because it's so beat in. I was throwing this on pretty much every hole at Champions Cup this year. Because it's a D1, it's still nice and reliable and overstable, but because it's so beat in, it holds pretty straight and can hold lines. So I've had it for a long time. I use it almost as a fairway driver, weird enough, because it's so beat in. Yeah, one of my favorite woods discs ever. As you can probably tell, I have a lot of understable stuff, a lot of overstable stuff. The main reason for the understable stuff, when I first started playing, I threw a lot of hyzers. I was very spinny. I was able to manipulate understable stuff pretty well and get them to fly how I wanted to. And then the overstable stuff kind of came from playing with Gannon a lot. He loves to rip over overstable discs. I've kind of gotten better at that over the years, playing with Gannon a lot. Let's talk about the bag itself, the Apex XL. I love this thing. It has so much storage. It can hold so many discs. It has 2 pockets on the side. I use one to hold my water bottles, one to hold discs. It has 2 big pockets on the side. I can hold a jacket, I can hold more water. It has a putter pouch, a lot of discs. I think I bag a little over 20 discs and I can fit them perfectly. By far my favorite thing about this bag compared to other bags is how comfortable it is. The back straps have so much padding. Even if the bag is like 20 pounds, you hardly notice it. It's super comfortable, super lightweight. There you go, all the discs I'm bagging for the 2023 season. I'm feeling really confident about this season. I have every disc I need, every slot in the bag that I need for these Pro Tour courses that challenge us. You can find all these discs at prodigydisc.com, so start building your bag today.